Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who That Nation, man. How y'all doing tonight? Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this live. And this one here, fam, howling at the black and gold is kind of late, man. But listen, man, we are dealing with some supreme or extreme weather, rather, coming into here. We have under a freeze watch currently. I know some of the family members around the area probably going through the same stuff right now as the temperatures are dropping. It's not like our up north family members, but you got to understand hard freeze warnings down here. We take it seriously, just like you would in other places. But, you know, we just have to watch out, man. So y'all be safe. Tomorrow, as the temperature's supposed to plunge a bit and get a little cold. So y'all guys bundle up and y'all keep it easy, man. All right, so shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream like I've been saying for some time now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? Shout out to the fam. We're here. Open up the stream, man. Fixing the New Orleans Saints. If it was all that easy, right? And really it is. It is easy to fix the New Orleans Saints. Granted, you have to be serious about doing some fixing of the New Orleans Saints, but it could be done. It could be done. So before we get going, please feel free, family, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. It helps us out a great deal. We in this thing. All right, so let's just jump right into it, man. Shout out to you guys. Let's get right into some of this stuff here. This is taken from an article right here. And, man, listen, man, it's been a rough season, man. You know, I had to take a couple of days back, kind of looking at things. I did watch a couple of the football games, playoff games this past weekend. I watched the Cowboys get shellacked by the Packers, the same Packer club that we allowed to come back, you know, with 11 minutes left to go in the third quarter and beat us 18-17. The Packers took advantage. They were able to beat the crap out of the Cowboys, which is always fun to watch the Cowboys win 12 games and then lose in the first round. That's always fun. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who we split with, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you know, in the playoffs, trying to take care of business as well. So it's very interesting, man, to see how things kind of looking at his Tampa Bay did they thing against the Eagles. Boy, the Eagles, could you imagine? So we talk about two playoff shockers. A lot of people anticipating the Eagles to beat the Buccaneers and the Cowboys beating the Pack. It went the opposite way. And both of them were nice, handily wins by opposite teams. Baker Mayfield's Bucks over the Eagles. Jordan Love's Pack over the Cowboys. Pretty cool, right? I know it ain't really fun to hear about, you know, because that should have been our squad there. But in the end, you know, it is what it is. But Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen are disappointed. They disappointed. Boy, every time I hear that, that just, man, That just infuriates me. So shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all. I see you, Carla. Shout out to the queens in this thing. Much love to you, Carla, Barbara. Good to see y'all in the chat as well. Much love. Appreciate y'all. As well, Pelicans, Nola, Vilma, G Fly, OG. Shout out to all y'all. Be kind. Gundam on the rest of the fam. Kim, I see you. Slim. Much love. Bronze Flat Power God. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate all y'all. Mall in this thing. KK, what's popping? Good to see you in the building as well, man. But listen, it's cool, man. It's very cool. But we're going to go over this stuff. And this is an article from Saints News Network. Shout out to Brother Kyle T and the rest of the team at Saints News Network putting this one together, fixing the Saints in the offseason. Saints have a lot of things to figure out over the next several months. Even though the season just ended, the Saints having a debrief after a lost year and will need to work on a 2024 plan now to be better positioning themselves when they take the field again in June for mandatory minicamp. Listen, the Saints had everything. They had everything. They had it all. And they squandered it. They mismanaged it. It's not like one of them situations where, hold on just a second, fam. I don't have my cord. Yeah, but it's just, to me, going through everything that we've seen this past season and watching these people mismanaged time. That's the most valuable resource that we had, that they just squandered it. They waste time. That's what the Saints do under Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen. They waste time. This is a league where if you're losing these games, you're losing them because something wrong. You're not handling your business. With all the talent that we had on offense, on defense, and even on special teams, there was no reason, in a soft schedule, there was no reason for the Saints to not make a playoff. Absolutely zero reason. But they didn't. Why? Mismanagement was the key ingredient this year. Mismanagement. Dennis Allen mismanaging his team. Mickey Loomis not managing anything, which is a form of mismanagement. And do I expect these two people to do anything different and achieve next year when they're anticipating it to be a softer schedule? You will never get a softer schedule than what you got last year. I don't care what the new reports are showing, this other stuff. Everything was set up for the Saints to achieve it. And when things went awry, it's not, listen, I'm going to go through this stuff, but please bear in mind, family, the Saints don't have a talent issue. They have a management issue. That's a whole nother thing. And the guys that's managing the team are not proactive during the season. When coaches are not coaching the offense or the defense correctly, they don't do anything about it. They don't go there and switch out play callers. If there's a problem with the offense, like Pete Carmichael had all that stuff that was going on early in the season when the offense was stinking, not scoring any touchdowns, and they were kicking field goals. He was under fire every week, and Dennis Allen stood up there and made excuses for him and protected him while the offense was falling through the floor. That's if you were more proactive right there, things could have changed. You might have won the game. You might have won more, and that makes a difference. You could have won more game, maybe 2 games. But he didn't do anything. He just let it be. And that's the same. And Dennis Allen, I can't really blame him, even though I know, and I say that all the time, because Dennis, you know who Dennis Allen is. You know he's not a head coach. No head coach that's worth his salt would apologize to the rival's team for them scoring a touchdown on him. Nobody would do that. No team worth his salt would throw his people under the bus. I don't care what they did. All that stuff's supposed to be handled in-house. That's why people don't respect him. And if you got a manager that's too dumb to see that this guy's not a coach, he is not a real manager himself, and he was living off Sean Payton's rep. All of them were. All of them do. That's why they underachieve here right now before your face. All those dudes was living off of Sean Payton's rep and what he was doing. And like I said before, people laugh at it, but these are sidekicks. This is what it looks like. Your team is ran by a group of sidekicks that's living off of past rep. They're not proactive. They're not visionaries. And Mickey Loomis has too much power in the New Orleans Saints organization. He does. Gail, you need to get up and do something about that. Mickey Loomis is the biggest problem the Saints have, because a real general manager knows when he has a problem with the team. There's rumors out on the Philadelphia Eagles getting ready to hit that their head coach is under fire. They get fired, and that team was just in the Super Bowl, what last year? I mean, that team was, just and the guy, rumors is he's under fire right now. How is he under fire? And this dude we got in the building with the Saints is not under fire right now. That doesn't make any sense at all. It does in the NFL world where the Saints live on the island because the team is too fat and comfortable with sucking up your money and giving you mixed results. See, Philadelphia people don't play that shit. Them Philadelphia people up there, they laying it down. They telling them to their face that you're going to do this, that, and the third. They're serious about it. They had Dougie Peterson. He won a Super Bowl for them. A couple of years later, Dougie P was gone. Now, they might be a little insatiable at times, but they keep the fire on you. That's how you're supposed to be. There should be no point ever that a general manager or a guy supposed to be a general manager is supposed to stand up there before the team and thumb his nose at people, giving him the facts about how dumb this coach is, and he's still protecting them and keeping them. Absolutely not. Mickey Loomis needs to go from that general manager position. No guy in that organization is bigger than winning. Nobody's more important to bringing success or making the family members happy. And this guy has way too much power, and he ain't even related to the family. He has way too much power in that organization, and he's way too fossilized in his thinking. Like when the moment he needs and it's a lot. But the biggest problem you have is Mickey Loomis, for real. The biggest problem. The dude is a big problem. Way bigger than Dennis Allen, by the way. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Honest evaluation for the coaching staff. Most of the changes we should expect for the Saints will be on the offensive side of the ball. It should be. While everything feels like it should be on the table, he said his vote would be to keep Ronald Curry, the quarterback's passing game coordinator, Cody Burns, the wide receiver coach. And I do like Cody Burns. I think Cody Burns is a smart dude. Ronald Curry, however, I wouldn't be upset if the Saints kept Ronald Curry at the quarterback passing game coordinator. I just think that's somebody going to end up taking him. They almost lost him last year, and he came back. This year it might not be the same thing. Clancy Barone with the tight ends have done really good as well. So I'm cool with that. Pete Carmichael will obviously be the biggest name the Saints could replace. Respectfully, the Saints have had the same offense for the past 17 years. Some of the parts and pieces have evolved and changed, but the basic concept has been there for a long time. Fresh ideas, a new perspective would be welcome. While the team overlooked things down the stretch, it was just inconsistent. Coaching and game planning could easily spell the difference between wins and losses. We saw too much of it in this past season. Doug Marrone and Kevin Carberry had the offensive line ready to go and figure things out after some major struggles early in the season. But one of the most concerning things moving forward is Trevor Penning. I don't have a glowing opinion of Doug Marrone like that. I really don't. I think we could do better. I didn't like how the offensive line played. He had veterans. And the offensive line played in many games this year stupidly. They were undisciplined. They were disjointed. They were false starting. They didn't play with the same intensity every snap. The running game suffered. So I don't have the same glowing look at the offensive line as the writer does. I damn sure don't. I think we could do better. He could even jumble work in garbage time with injuries that went to the practice squad offensive lineman. That was troubling. But Penning is something that's been a problem. The Saints literally grabbed Penning and just pushed him all the way to the bottom of the active roster. I mean, you had guys like Cam Irvin coming off the practice squad and playing. I'm like, damn, Penning struggled, but he's not that bad where everybody should be getting a shot. And the only way he plays if you don't have anybody else to play. Like, damn. So we'll see how they handle that. The Saints has to get him the right mentor or the coach. This is going to just be, be a massive bust. I don't think Trevor Penning is going to be a bust. I think you need to bust up the offensive line coach and find somebody else, somebody that can motivate these guys to play smart but nasty. Because the running game and playing with running game is an attitude you got to have. You got to have an attitude. You can't be all milk toast. You can't be all docile, and you can't be like we've seen the Saints offensive line play there. Who has a nasty disposition on that line? Who plays with none of them guys plays with them. That's why the line looked like that for most of the season. It wasn't mauling out anybody, so you got to find somebody else. I think Doug Marrone has run his course here in New Orleans, and I wouldn't be upset if they got rid of him. All right, anything beyond the main components of the offensive line, offensive coordinator could be on the table, but we'll have to see how it shapes. Defensively, feel pretty good about keeping everything in place. Michael Hodges could be a coach to watch. He's done a tremendous job for years with groups, as it won't be surprised to see one give him an extended look. Yeah, I've been hearing Michael Hodges definitely getting a lot of credit, for how he's been doing. The next thing, getting under the cap, restructures. We know that these things are coming, just a part of how the Saints operate. We've already seen them reshaped or restructure Laddie Daddy with Mark-Sean Lattimore and Jameis Winston's contract. Carr will have a prime candidate. He'll be a prime candidate for restructure, but the New Orleans Saints doesn't exactly have to touch his contract to get cap compliant. If they do touch Carr's deal, they could free up roughly $23 million with just him. And of course, a common practice to help the Saints with even more cap relief could be to add void years to the deal, which is the kick the can thing. That's all he offers. That's all he offers, to kick the can, And the thing is, the mentality, which was said by Lomas, was they were supposed to work it back toward the center, which is to stop kicking the can. They can't do it because they created a bad habit where every damn year the Saints are $80+ million consistently over the cap. And they have to constantly restructure contracts. And when they do that, they add void years in some of the contracts, non-playable years that span out into and eat up the cap of future years. Problem is, with the Saints doing this situation is starting to backfire because the Saints are not turning out young players that are being very beneficial, especially ones that we're drafting. We are not drafting as well as we were before the draft. Look at what's going on now. Now, Brian Brissy is stellar. He had a really good season at the defensive line. Jordan Howden stepped up. That's some of our draft guys. Kendre Miller is a force, but he was terribly injured most of the year. A.T. Perry turned into something very positive, but you span back several years. There is the Peyton Turner situation. How does he fare it out? This first round draft picks, high picks that are not providing the value. Davenport, bust. Is Peyton Turner headed in that direction? So a lot of guys at the Saints, Trevor Penning right now is literally smushed down way in the depths of the offensive line where practice squad veterans are getting chances over him. So that has to be changed and addressed philosophy-wise. And to say that about some guy as old as Mickey Loomis, who's a dinosaur already, you asking him not to have more of a progressive look, he going to keep doing what he's doing, which is kick the can. I mean, that's what he's going to – that's not going to change. He's going to continue to kick the can. That's just how it is. All right, here's a couple of players that the Saints could look at for relief. Cam Jordan, $9.4 million. Demario Davis, $8 million. Eric McCoy, $6.7. Carl Granderson, $7.2. Cesar Ruiz, $6.6. Taysom Hill, $6.6. And AK-41, $8 million. Along with Carr, they would roughly free up $76 million. There are others to look at. Tyrann Mathieu, Juwan Johnson, who could also generate an extra $9.5 million. The Saints will need to have space to spend, also have the room to sign rookies. We'll see what happens sooner than later. Make tough decisions. What do you mean? We already knew there's a few old guard players that might not be with the team next year. While those obviously come to the surface soon enough, the thought process, stay or go exercise for my colleague here, it makes a lot of sense. He says the departures of I expect would be shock at Jameis Winston or Michael Thomas, Andrews Peter, Marcus May. The future decision regarding Lattimore will be fascinating to see unfold with this option clause. Lattimore is a big presence on the field, taken away almost half of it when he's out there. Saints proved they could thrive without him, but there was also times when they look lost. If they trade him for any reason, they would give Isaac Yiadom a spot to start opposite of Paulson and Debo, and Alontae Taylor stays in the slot. What was encouraging to see, the Saints' final offensive performance against the Falcons is a success with Kamara, Ramczyk, Thomas, and Lattimore without him. So it's possible that it's certainly not a norm we could get used to, or honestly, whatever. So listen, I am not for this. Is something that's being bantered about, whether it's something people are just using for just writing stuff just to throw that out there. Not clickbait, but approaching the trade Lattimore thing, which is that's not something that a smart team's supposed to be doing. Notice I said smart team. That's not something you would want to even look at. Number one, like I said, Lattimore is a guy that is a lockdown corner. I am not comfortable enough, and I've seen Isaac Yiadom have a progression under Coach Joe Woods. He did. He looked better. But that doesn't make me feel good enough to trade Lattimore to put Isaac Yiadom in there because he's a cheaper option because he played well in several games last year. That's not enough. That's not enough for me. You got a proven guy with a restructured contract. He's hands off on that. Hands off on Lattimore. And let's just keep what we got. You can afford it. It's not like you can't afford to keep what you got. There are other guys here that you can restructure, guys that might be having issues playing next year. There's other places you can go. Like I said, Marcus May, I'm cool with them getting rid of Marcus May because Jordan Howden showed you, and Marcus May can't stay on the field. Andrews Pete time is up. Michael Thomas times is up. Jameis Winston, I believe Jameis, even though they restructured his deal, I think Jameis probably going to end up. I think Jameis Winston, the Saints, probably going to head up for a split. It's just not. It's not a harmonious thing, It's almost like he gave him a cheap replay to come back here. I just don't feel like. I think Jameis and them, that might be headed toward a cut or something happen, maybe post June. We'll see, but I'm just feeling like that might have run its course. All right, tighten up scouting evaluations. Prototypes in small schools finds are nice, but if you're going to turn this thing around, you're not going to rely on a ton of rookies to make an instant impact. Also, a lone star he says, let a lone star for you. Yes, New Orleans has 2 picks in the top 50, the 14th and the 45 selection. They hit gold with Brian Bresee, but the picks between the rounds 2 and 4 didn't exactly make a huge impact. In all honesty, the team got more of their day 3 and undrafted rookies than they did on day 2. And then you talk about the relative athletic score, which the RAS is always a metric that measures New Orleans has used for the draft. It's almost like running a running joke that someone needs to have at least a 9.0 or higher to even get considered by the Saints. After the 2 top picks, the Saints won't operate again until day 3. As of right now, the Saints want to inject a little bit more youth into that roster, and we'll be banking on some of the younger players to make big jumps, and simply isn't the year to draft a project or a player that has potential to be great. You see the Saints picks round 1, round 2 via the Broncos, no 3rd, no 4th. They have a 5 and a 6 and a 7 from the Broncos. And you can see some more compensatory picks added to this. And he does mention that here, but those aren't projected to be higher than the 5th round. That they can also obviously be, obviously acquire more if they offload a player via trade or through any other means. Priority key free agents. Areas of need. The Saints have a couple of glaring areas that need to address in offseason, and they should start on the offensive line. And I've been saying that to the end of the season. We talked about that the Saints offensive line, left tackle, left guard, problem. Right tackle also. Trevor Penning should, like I said, he shouldn't be anywhere on the left side in terms of being a left tackle. I think right tackle would be better for him. I said that when they drafted him. I kept telling them that. And look just remember, we kept telling them, don't do that. I was telling them that he's not a left tackle. Play him at the right side. You don't put a rookie at the blind side. I kept telling them that. Look how bad this failed on Penning. I kept saying that. Because how I know that? Because that's common freaking sense. How did they not know that? It's common sense. It is common NFL sense for you not to use a rookie if you can help it. Don't put your rookie offensive lineman for the blind side to protect the quarterback. That's two, and then the rival defenses just sending their best pass rushers at the dude. That is just, it was a bad look. They didn't put him in a position to win, man. But anyway, let's take a look at it, man. Here's the thought process. You didn't have a good running game last season, and you shouldn't rely on rookies to protect a veteran and Derek Carr. I said that years ago. You're not sure what the future holds for Ramczyk. At this point, you can't count on Pennon. Pete is a free agent right now, and only certain players you have returning are James Hurst, and he needs to be put in a Hurst and ship out of here. James Hurst is no. Don't need to be starting for you, and he don't need to be a backup. James, find you somebody else. Go back to Trey Turner, do something different. Find you somebody else. Cesar Ruiz and McCoy under contract. Landon Young could also be a player to use in the mix. He showed something. In short, you need a veteran offensive tackle or two. I love the thought process last offseason bringing in someone like Trey Turner, which was good. He got hurt early on, but, if he's healthy, bring him back. He says, while I swing the most when free agent opens, I wouldn't rule out bringing back Cam Irvin. I wasn't impressed with that, but it could be a cheap thing. And you look at some of the targets, they see Trent Brown and Jonah Williams on there, Michael Onwenu, and a few others. I don't know if the Saints make a splash at a veteran left tackle. I've advocated for that, but then again, we'll see where their mind at. But avoid the splash, stay in the bargain bin. Aside from Derek Carr, the Saints needed some pieces that fit the team well and didn't pay a ton. Getting two defensive tackles in Kalen Saunders and Nate Shepard well under the market value was smart. Bringing backs in like Ugo Amadi and Lonnie Johnson Jr. helped special teams as well as having another option in the slot at safety. Jamal Williams didn't have the season anyone expected. Begin again, the offensive line wasn't good. With the exception of the O-line, the Saints should focus on finding players that fit the mold and will give them their team respectability, playing time with starting upside. One area they should look at is getting a veteran receiver that would backfill a potential loss in Michael Thomas, that wouldn't be a bad bet to look for a veteran guy to come in for Mike Thomas. I think Mike is gone. But yeah, veteran option wouldn't be a bad bet in terms of a wide receiver for the Saints, depending on how much money they're going to spend on the process. But really, resources need to be placed to the Saints offensive line. That's a major problem. They need to figure that out. 3 spots there, left tackle, left guard, in the right tackle position need to be that is very important. Just because how the Saints looked, especially in the last game of the season, remember how they won that game. The Saints beat the Falcons that way because they were running the ball. They were running the ball, and Derek Carr was not the reason in terms of, he wasn't the number one option in terms of between the passing and the running attack. The Saints had more attempts running the ball than they did him passing the ball. And he looked more comfortable in that role, which is what it was supposed to be. The running game was supposed to lead the Saints offensively, the running game, and then the passing game off the back of that. They couldn't get the running game going consistently for whatever reason. They definitely have to beef up the offensive line. That's no problem. That is key measurement number 1. All right. So anyway, let's take a look at the sink or swim, boom or bust situation. Everything above isn't exactly how it will look at the end of the day. The truth is, no one really knows what will happen. The Saints are always a team that pulls a shocking eye on one another. The reality that is the importance of working. It is what matters. If the Saints can't get to it to get it together for next season, things might just look very different for the Saints. Dennis Allen is down to his final stake, and it's playoffs or nothing. This is the team's last chance to make something of itself with their current core. Not getting in the postseason could prompt a total build. The Saints brain trust, and I use that title very, very loosely for them. Can't get away with mediocrity again. The results need to speak for itself in 2024, and the work starts now to build up and win back the family members and the doubters. This is the thing here. In the NFL, the Saints are too comfortable. They're way too comfortable. I made mention of teams like Philadelphia and all these other family bases. A floor has been set and a culture has been set in the city of New Orleans. The Saints are violating that, the way they're behaving. Dennis Allen doesn't deserve to have that job. He doesn't deserve it. He's had 2 years and 9 playoff football. Last year, he was, they were looking at firing him. They gave him another chance, and Mickey Loomis is running and hiding and insulting people for him to keep the job. I don't like Mickey Loomis having that much power in the Saints building. I really don't. And that's the issue with Gail letting these people operate, and Gail really not tripping on nothing because she's getting paper. So that's what I was saying to some of the family members about, if you want some change to happen, you got to show your disgust when they start looking at them empty seats in that dome. That's when you start seeing a lot of stuff happen. Dennis Allen, the reason why the Saints screwed up this year is because of mismanagement. And you can cut that between Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis, because Mickey Loomis didn't do a damn thing. He didn't go in there and tell Dennis Allen or prompt him or tell him to do this, that. He left them alone. And when people were putting pressure on him, that's why he was agitated. He doesn't like for you to put pressure on him to do his job. And he says lame shit all the time in these dumb interviews with these softball reporters. And he sits up here and berates people, tells them they're not qualified to judge NFL coaches, tells them the reporters they're lazy and unsophisticated, says all this elitist garbage, and sits up on his ass. And people say, you need to do something. He says he's not. Then well, listen, I'm just too emotional during the year. So I wait after the year before I do anything. I just can't do it. I had to win. You win, I'm happy. I lose, I'm sad. It's just too much emotion. So I don't do my job, which is just ridiculous. And I often say that's one of the stupidest, immature, non-professional things that I've ever heard a general manager ever say, which started prompting me to say, this guy can't be a general manager. He is a poser. He is a pretender. And the majority of his success came by way because he was fortunate enough to be in any type of affiliation with Sean Payton. They all did. They all became fantastically wealthy because of Sean Payton. They all did. Mickey Loomis gets his 200 win and all this kind of nonsense, but check his record under Dennis Allen. Without Sean Payton, he's laughable. With Sean Payton, they're always winning because Sean Payton tell them what to do. Look what happened when nobody's telling them what to do. Look what happens when nobody telling either one of them what to do. Look how the product on the field looks. So instead of going to check his team, he turns and makes dumb lying ass stats and berating comments to the supporters, which won't win you any group. And I said, I've exposed Mickey Loomis. I've exposed them for the entire Who Dat Nation. People message me on Secure. I didn't see that before, man. I was like, yeah, bro, he had everybody fooled. He's like, well, how is Roseman from Philly fleecing Mickey Loomis for picks? Because he's not a real general manager. No, that's not hard to believe. I'm telling you. I'm saying, listen, the proof is in the pudding. Forget the emotional attachment that you have. You got to look at the raw numbers, the standings, and the fact how the team looks without Sean Payton there. Look how it looks. It's total different. It's a joke. This team is mismanaged. That's the problem. It's not a talent issue. They didn't have a talent issue in the 7 and 10 year. It wasn't a talent issue. They were mismanaged. They had a starting quarterback. They refused to play toward the back end of the year because he called the weasel out for lying to him. And people doubted it, but this is a guy, it happens every year when the guy does something really snaky and underhanded. The year before, it was him lying to Jameis and backstabbing him. So Jameis went to the press. So what he did he make it right with Jameis in a year? Nope. He kept Andy Dalton played the entire year, even when Jameis was healthy. That's mismanagement and pettiness, that you would put your own stinking weaselly feelings over the top of the team's success when you had the better quarterback to play. He mismanaged it that year and ran the team in the ground. Where was Mickey Loomis then? A real general manager would have kiboshed all of that shit and told him, no, you gonna play this guy because I'm paying this guy. Make it work. Make it so. To my old star track buddies out there, and like old Captain Picard would tell them, make it so. That's what you're supposed to do. Make it so. Make it happen. I don't care about this. I want to win. Your petty feelings don't mean nothing. Go out there and make it so. Make it work. But what'd he do? He wasn't nowhere to be found. He wasn't nowhere in the Jameis Winston situation. And this year, What happened with Dennis Allen backstabbing his whole team in front of the entire world? They did that on their own. Dude, you're not going to win with somebody like that. And then you see the general manager listen to it, and he still backs the guy. That means he's a dummy. He's not a real general manager, dude. This dude is not a real GM. No real general manager would have backed that guy. And then you got Bill Belichick free out here and Pete Carroll free out here. And you sticking to this trash over here, this scum, this backstabby line throwing his team under the bus ass coach right here. And you got Belichick and Harbaugh and all these other coaches, real coaches, all out here. And you holding on to this trash, this janitor. You got a janitor running the team, and you got fantastic coaches with championship pedigree. 3 of them out there. 3 of them out there right now. And you holding on to this trash. That's why I said that guy's not a real general manager, bro. There are all kind of people out there. That's right, Carla. Variable too. They got guys out here that are real coaches, that are real football coaches, not janitors and backstabby, sneaky, underhand snake people. You can't win with that, man. Nobody's going to play for a scumbag like that, man. They're not going to do it. So these are 2. This is an arrogant, elitist, hold his nose up in the air, time-wasting troll. That's what Mickey Loomis is to me. He's a time-wasting troll who is running his team on arrogance and not on logic. That's the problem we got here. Running the team off of arrogance and not logic and mismanagement. That's what's going on here. That is what's going on here now. Anyway, speaking of this, your hated Atlanta Falcons, the same people your dumbass, weasel face, possum looking ass coach apologized to quite recently. They fired their coach, and they're now in league. They've been having conversation with Bill Belichick. That's right, the same Bill Belichick with multiple Super Bowl rings. And this is bringing me to the point where I'm thinking about the dream that I had, the vision. Could somebody please remind me of the vision that I had at the end of the season? Could somebody remind me of it? Because I keep forgetting it because it was a horrible nightmare to me. And I didn't want to realize what I was visualizing. Could somebody please tell me what that was that I told the family. I say, family, I just had this terrible nightmare or whatever. Could somebody remind me of what I said? Kevin, that was one of them. Falcons get Jaden Daniels. What was the other one? It was a couple of them. Anyway, the Atlanta Falcons interview Bill Belichick for the coaching job. Falcons have officially expressed interest in the coach who handed the franchise the most painful loss in team history. The Falcons, and I thought that was us that did it, to be honest with you. The Falcons announced Monday that they have interviewed New England coach Bill Belichick for the head coaching vacancy, the first known interview done by Belichick since he and the Patriots mutually parted ways last week. He's 71, been coaching for 29 years, 24 in New England, 5 in Cleveland. He got a combined record of 302 wins versus 165 losses. He has 6 Super Bowl titles. One of those Super Bowl victories came against the Falcons, and blah, blah, blah. My whole thing is, it was the moment that he said that mentioned in wide-ranging news conference with Falcons owner Count Blank and his old-time bid-up victim CEO Rich McKay. The team fired Arthur Smith following 3 seasons. So they've been leading the coaches. So I don't know what Fontenot was going on with Terry Fontenot, but it's been McKay and Count Blankula run that. But what's interesting about it is, anytime you get a Bill Belichick out there, and that's not very often you would get a Bill Belichick, but when it's just amazing to me how dumb these people are for real. But anyway, Belichick is the 6th candidate the club has announced as interviewing for the job, along with Baltimore assistant head coach Anthony Weaver, Baltimore defensive coordinator Mike McDonald, San Francisco defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, and Carolina defensive coordinator and Cincinnati offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. So they talked to Bill Belichick for the job. Nothing is written quite yet, but could you imagine? Could you imagine? Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Anyway, let's keep it moving, fam. Let's go to the next article right here. Top 10 salary hits facing the 2024 Saints. And we plenty of financial commitments here to talk about. And this is some of those as the numbers will pull from over the cap. 10 salary cap hits for the Saints coming into the year. Derek Carr, cap hit. 10.9% of it is $35.7 million. $30 million base salary. $5.7 million in prorated bonus. The $30 million is guaranteed for Derek Carr. That's a lot of money for a dude, for a quarterback. You only win 9 wins. It's a lot of money for 2 wins, man. It's a lot of money. Ram check, 2702, $17 million base salary, 10 plus million dollars on the prorated bonus for Ram. 27 mil has to be restructured. Rams' current situation is dire. It's an anticipation, a thought process on the street that Rams' playing career could be over with. Most certainly this upcoming year, they're not anticipating him playing. And that knee is that bad. As you can see, when he was playing on that knee, giving him rest, and he kind of decided not to get the surgery from last year. He just got painkillers, pain shots in the knee, and it really worsened to the point where the pain shots didn't work. And now his career could be, in jeopardy. So although we give a shout out to Ram to have a full recovery, but bro, at 29 years old, man, you made a lot of money. You got a big contract, bro. If you can't play again, you lived the dream. You did what you were supposed to do. Cam, 34 mil, almost 23.28 million for Cam, $6.3 million base. You got 10.28 million in prorated bonus plus 6.7 million in roster bonus. 13 million of that 23 plus is guaranteed. These are restructured candidates, no doubt about it. Carr, I don't see why they wouldn't restructure Carr, but these are kind of some of the numbers. Elvin Kamara's numbers, just under 19 million for him. His base at 10.2 plus the prorated bonus over just over 17 million plus the $1 million roster bonus, $500K per game bonus plus 100,000 in the workout bonus. Definitely a restructured candidate. DeMario's contract over $18 million with a $10 million base salary. He's definitely another one. And of course, the rest of them, Taysom Hill, who's 33 years old, it's just $15.79 million for him, 10 million base. For Taysom, Lattimore's contract is going to be restructured already been restructured 14.62, 1.21 million base, 13.4 in the prorated. Eric McCoy's just under 14 million with a $9.6 million base. Andrews Pete, who is basically a free agent with over 13 million. Carl Granderson, 12.45 is there as well. Also, there are 3 other players who will come up at cap hit above 10 million. In addition to the top hits is Michael Thomas over 12, Tyron over 12, and Cesar Ruiz just under 11. Saints have already tackled a couple of restructures, and we're certainly going to see more of them play out as we get closer to the league new year, which starts March the 13th. So a lot of time in between before this stuff happens. We're still currently, dealing with the playoffs right now, and the stuff don't really get the snapping and popping until most of the time when the playoffs are out and done. All right, so anyway, let's go to the next one here, fam. And this is one right here that was posted by the family members for this upcoming season, the Saints' strength of schedule based on the 2023 regular season records. So based on the strength of schedule for 2024, the Browns are on top, ranked number 1 with 158 versus 131 in losses. That's the record, combined record. And guess who all the way at the bottom again for 2024 is the Falcons. And the Saints are tied for the 31st with the easiest or the softest potential record for 2024. Are you buying that? Are you buying it? Are you buying it, family? That's a whole nother thing altogether. So very interesting. But in the end, what I see, I think in the end, we have, like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The record situation, everything was agreeable. Everything was agreeable for the Saints. Everything. The team had talent. The team had a pick at, and like I said, you go back and you really recap what happened. You go at the start of the season last year when the Saints brought in all of these coaches, Joe Woods, Marcus Robinson, and a lot of these guys were fantastic. Ty Grantham, it took him a while, but he got the line going. Uh, some areas regressed. I did like the addition of Clancy Barone to the tight end room. I think he is going to be. I thought he was a plus. I do, you know, like some of that was going on. But then again, I don't think early on talent was an issue with the Saints. The Saints had talent. I think a lot of what happened with the Saints was from a head coach standpoint, like having the intangibles, like the discipline, the attention to detail, that type of stuff that make teams that are already talented go to the next level. Accountability, that's another big one, that we lack in a great detail. We lack accountability. You got a coach that backstabs his players. That's a problem, bro. Look at, for instance, look what happened with the coach down there in the Houston Texans. Look what he's done with them. Look what he's done. The Houston Texans coach DeMeco Ryans has taken a bum ass Houston team that were losing for years, and he's made them respectable. They've done that with rookies. They have a rookie quarterback that is doing that. They got young players everywhere, offense and defense. They took that team, turned them around, got in the playoffs, and even got a win in the playoffs. I mean, it's utterly amazing what good coaches could do for you when what was supposed to happen. They blasted the Browns in the playoff. That's DeMeco Ryans turned them around and made them respectable. That's what a good coach do for you. The team buy-in, the media buy-in, because they can tell the difference between a winner and a guy that's not a winner. I can never see a guy like DeMeco Ryans or Mike Tomlin or any of these guys that are respectable and understand what a locker room means and trust means in a locker room, throwing their players under the bus, lying to them and backstabbing them. And he got a reputation for that. So it's really amazing to see how it all just unfolded. The new coaches and all that, and then the Saints finished with 9-8. People will say, "Well, Q, they were 7-10 before," but that's not the problem, fam. The problem is the issue is they were supposed to get to the playoffs, not finish with a winning record. The idea is playoffs because you got the oldest team in the league. You have a 2 to 3 year window when you're supposed to be putting it together. And the Saints have basically squandered the 2 of the 3 year window. They've squandered it. They've mismanaged it. And I have zero faith that they will continue with they're saying it's easy right here, but listen, with the teams that they are showing that you're going to be playing, it's not going to be that. The Saints this year had a schedule where the cold games were early in the year, and they were in areas where it was good weather, where the Saints didn't have to deal with that. Later on in the season, the teams they had to face when it was starting to get cold was teams that were warm weather teams. You go down to Tampa Bay, or teams that have a dome situation where you didn't have to deal with the elements. They had a Tampa Bay Buccaneer team led by Baker Mayfield. Everybody else teams they had young quarterbacks. They were struggling. You had the advantage because you was a team what it's supposed to be with a veteran quarterback on top of it that you spend $150 million on. You got Jamal Williams here, all this kind of old stuff. And in the end, the Saints finished 9-8. Tampa Bay won a playoff game tonight, and they're moving on to the second round. And the Saints sitting up here watching them on television. While Dennis Allen at the end of the press conference tells you that he's pissed and what he did wasn't good enough, even though we were saying it during the season for him to change. And they were sitting up there talking about what you're saying is negative noise. They were saying what we were saying was negative noise. People was voicing their displeasure about what was going on in the field. And then at the end of the year, they think I'm going to let them forget that we were saying during the year the whole damn time that this is not supposed to what it needs to be. You need to change it. You need to change that. The guy lied and said, well, we're going to change it. And we asked him, did you change anything? No, we didn't change anything. So why are you pissed at not winning when you – that's just crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. The guy is incapable of understanding what happened. You think these people really seriously going to sit down and look at the season and say what they did wrong? They're going to focus on the draft. They're going to focus on adding players to the team, but talent is not the problem. The talent is not the problem for the Saints. It wasn't the problem last year. It wasn't the problem the year before that. Talent never is an issue with the New Orleans Saints, especially over the last several years. It's mismanagement. Whatever you put on the team or in the team, the guy on top of the team, he's going to mismanage the hell out of it because he's not serious about fixing what's really wrong with the team, which is him. He's not going to fix his non-accountability issues. He's not going to stop being backstabby. He's not going to go to leadership school and learn how to be a better leader or be a better motivator or know how to be the better communicator or be more accountable and use himself by saying me, as opposed to us so much when he's the head coach that picked everybody. Picking better people over these units to run them, as opposed to having good old boy arrangement with guys like Carmichael. Go and find somebody to actually do the job correctly. That's what I'm talking about. I have zero faith in Dennis Allen to do that because he don't even realize that that's an issue. He don't even see it, which is why he shouldn't be a coach. He's a janitor at best, a shitty one at that mops with a sour mop. He's an underhanded, snaky car salesman that sells Katrina cars. That's my literal thought process of Dennis Allen. He's a shitty janitor that mops your floors with a sour mop. And you walk up in there like, man, what's this smell up in here? And then you walk over to Dennis Allen's bucket. And he don't even clean the mop. He's mopping with a sour mop. He's a sneaky. He's a car salesman that sells very over deodorized cars to people. That's what he does. That's my perception of this guy, dude. I'm serious. That's my perception. And Mickey Loomis is totally, I ain't gonna say Mickey's clueless, but Mickey Loomis is operating and running this team out of arrogance, which is not something you're supposed to be doing, which means it's time for you to go. You're not supposed to be operating out of arrogance. If people telling you your coaches has problem and he stinks and people are upset, you're supposed to investigate that. You're not supposed to be, oh, well, listen, the hell with those guys. They're going to buy these tickets anyway. That's how he's moving. He's moving with that energy. Like, he don't care if you mad or not. I'm going, I can tell you what. I see that billboard you guys try to do. I did that. I stopped that shit. I stopped it. I called them. I told them, listen, whatever they trying to pay you, I'll triple it. I'll triple it. The hell with that guy with that billboard. How dare you? I'm not going to let you put up a damn billboard around here. I told him, I said, listen, let me tell you something. And whatever you put up on whatever that guy's raised for that billboard, I'll triple it. And this is war. Yeah, it's war, right? You can't win, though. You can't win against them unless you're going to buy every last one of them tickets in that dome. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, that's the whole thing. No, that billboard's not going up. No, it's not, Kevin. I tell you. So you guys, I tell you something. Yeah, that's right. You're not qualified. Tell that big Q guy he's not qualified to talk about Dennis Allen. And neither are you guys. All of you little guys, all of you people out there that's listening, all of you guys, you're lazy and unsophisticated. You're lazy and unsophisticated, and you guys are noisy nannies. You only talk about negative noise. All of you guys out there, you're qualified. You're not qualified. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what he says. He says that, man. He says that. He says that all the time. He's a very elitist. Mickey is really elitist, man. When you start challenging him on his bullshit guessing and all of the crap that it is, this garbage coach that he put up on top of the team trying to pass off, when you challenge him and people are challenging him, he gets frustrated. And that's why I know I want you up out of here, because that's not what you're supposed to do. If somebody telling you if you running a business and you got a shitty employee and they got customers telling you that employee over there is shitty, they give you bad service, they talk mess, they rude. As a manager of the store, you're supposed to investigate that to find out what's going on with that employee and why he having problems with his team and people turning him in. He's a shitty manager. That's why I've said he's not really a general manager, because he does nothing like a general manager is supposed to. You're supposed to be constantly evaluating your players and your team and not waiting until the year is over with. That's why the team stinks like what it does, because he's not even doing evaluations during the year because of his emotions. He said that. Well, you see, my emotions, I win and I'm happy. I lose, I'm sad. So, with all the emotions, my God, I can't do it. So I just say I'm not going to do it. I'll wait till after the year and then I'll do it. Oh, what? Dude, that's what I'm saying. This is all a joke. These people are not serious. They're not serious, man. People say, well, Q, we're going to get this, we're going to get that, we're going to get this, and then we'll be such and such. Fam, listen, anything possible, and a broken clock could be right at least twice a day. But I'm telling you straight up is that it won't change and it won't get easier in this next year. It won't. And I'm not saying you have the gloom and doom thing, but what do you expect when your team don't have leadership? The head coach is weak. He's a weak leader. He's not even a leader. He's weak. He don't address things, the issues with himself, which he's the problem. He'll never, even if you tell Dennis Allen to his face, you're the problem, you don't have any accountability, he will not see that. It's like telling, and it goes right through one area and it's nothing in there to stop it. It goes from one area and out the other. It's nothing in there. Ain't no speed bump in there to stop it. It's one in there. You can tell them. Like I told them all year long about what was wrong with this team and they failed. And then when it comes back, you go and listen to the shows. Everything I was saying was true. But you get called a negative noise person. You get all this bullshit. But at the end of the day, you are 1,000% right. You are 1,000% right. So once again, the problem with the Saints and how to fix the Saints is simple. You need a real general manager who looks at the team for real and makes real evaluations on people that is above the good old boy circle. And this is what's going on. That is killing the team right now. Like that old man told Mickey Loomis in the stadium when he was in the Tampa Bay game last year. Mickey, you got to do something. He killed, and Dennis Allen, they killing the city, Mickey. He told Mickey Loomis that old Mickey ain't do shit. Mickey Loomis don't do nothing because he don't know what to do. Hey, Q, why don't he do this? He don't know what to do. He's not a real general manager. I keep telling people that. Say, Q, that sounds crazy. I said, bro, they got crazy shit happening every day. You know how many people that's in a position they ain't supposed to be where they at? Tearing up shit, lying about stuff, and how many bosses people you know that's managers somewhere they ain't supposed to be no manager, man? Why you think it's gonna change in the NFL? It's the same thing. He's not a real manager. He don't manage anything. Not until the year over with. He don't do nothing. So the dude could tear the team up all season long. He'll spin excuses. I told you he was gonna do that. He ain't do nothing. But when the season over with, he gonna spin excuses for the fool that caused the team to fail. Is that being a good manager? Is he really gonna look at the coach? He's not even doing that. He's not looking at the coach. He's not putting no pressure on the coach to do anything. Is that a good manager? No, that is not a good manager. He's supposed to understand the difference between a Sean Payton and a Dennis Allen. He can't even see that. He treating Dennis Allen like he's Sean Payton. He don't get on his back. He don't tell him nothing. Is that good management? I'm telling you, man, I'm not being negative, but I'm saying, man, when you got a guy like that, bro, man, listen. It ain't looking too hot, man. It ain't looking good for the home team, man. So how you fix the Saints, man? You fix the Saints by getting a real general manager, which unfortunately this guy is the general manager. And will he turn over the general manager duties to a younger general manager, being that he had him for 20 plus years? At some point, somebody got to run this dude off. I'm serious, man. At some point, somebody got to run this dude off, right? I mean, at least make him give up the general manager position. And you don't operate and run teams out of arrogance or egoism. It's all supposed to be about the greater betterment of the team, not running it off of arrogance to try to prove somebody something wrong when you don't, to make you think like you know what you're doing. I've been in this for 40 years. Yeah, you've been benefiting from Sean Payton. A lot of your success happened with Payton. If you go prior to Payton when he was in Seattle, what was going on up there? I'm telling you, man, I done did all of the research. I was like, dude, man, nobody took a look at it because things were different. But when Dennis Allen brought it all to light. All right, so anyway, shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate you, brother. Brent, thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, I wanted Michael Myers to come when Loomis shows himself, but looks like Chucky might show instead. Yeah. No Michael Myers, but Chucky, he definitely might be on the way. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right. He said they don't play for us because they play for God. Big Q. Come on, man. Did they really say? I think I remember him saying that, bro. Like we don't play for them, we play for us. I say, dude, see, it'll come out. You let them talk enough. It'll pop out. But the reality is, like, you know, you play for the people, you know, because they're paying you to play. The team get the money from the people, from the supporters. They pay the players. The players play for the team. The team's supposed to represent the city. They play for you. That's how it's supposed to go. If you got players that's playing for themselves over you, it could be problems here because the coach is supposed to get all that worked out. See, there's no bigger person in this matrix except for you. Even though you afford the players a lifestyle they otherwise probably wouldn't be able to live without your support overall. Just keeping it funky. You know, if they didn't think so, they would do something else that would benefit them at this level, which, you know, how many things there are to benefit them at that level, which they do. So, but the support is what you give them that makes their lifestyle possible. So if anything, you would want to ingratiate yourself to the support base. Thank you for this, Brandon.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I agree with you. Jack says, Chucky coming for DA too. Yes. Yes. And like I said, fam, y'all got any questions, y'all throw them in the chat, man. I'm going to get ready to end the stream in a few minutes. But listen, all I'm saying is this. It's like the whole Chucky situation and John Gruden. John Gruden has a court case with the NFL right now. So that's going to be interesting to see. He has to get that cleared up before the Saints take a job. He takes a job with the Saints. That has to be settled and out of the way. And that has to take its course first. But, you know, I think this is just me. I don't think the John Gruden thing is a Dennis Allen or a Mickey Loomis thing, because that don't fit their behaviors. That don't fit. This is a Derek Carr operation. That's the reason why Chucky was in here before. That's a Derek Carr idea. All of that's being pushed by Derek Carr. Derek Carr wants Chucky. He's the reason why he was here the two previous times, and he's the reason why the Saints have an interest in him, because they're trying to do everything they can to make Derek Carr happy. And getting John Gruden as an offensive assistant, or in my thinking, could be a co-coordinator, just like the Saints had co-coordinators under Dennis Allen in the first year when he couldn't pick between one or the other. He just had a coach job. He had Ryan Nielsen and Coach Richard as coordinators or co-coordinators. Could be the same thing, but with the offense this time. You can make Gruden a co-coordinator with Carmichael. Because I really don't think they get rid of Pete Carmichael. They don't have any incentive to. They give you basically the context clues at the end of the season when they was talking about how good the offense started looking over the last 5 games. That was an indication right there that they wasn't going to get rid of Pete Carmichael. You know, Carberry more than likely will probably take a job somewhere else. But in the end, you know, they looking for Gruden because that's a Carr operation. Carr wants him here. All right. So anyway, Infamous says we wasted 3 first-round picks on Davenport and Peyton Turner. Yeah, Davenport was an unmitigated bust. And they remember the Saints when they drafted Peyton Turner, they saying he reminded him of Marcus Davenport. And I said at the time when it happened, why are we drafting players that look like Davenport when Davenport didn't do a damn thing? Shouldn't we be drafting players that remind us of Cam? It's a template you're supposed to draft for, right? And we have success with certain templates. We need to start looking at players that look like that player and not look like a busted ass player. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the Peyton Turner pick is lining up just like Marcus Davenport, so they were right as rainwater in terms of that. Just to keep it real with you on that. All right, student says Dumas Dumas, that's a good one. It's getting 70 million a year from the city. Is he? I don't know his contract, bro. I remember some time ago I used to be on that number stuff, but I started kind of dialing back on what they make because it just pisses me off. Because based on what Mickey Loomis to me, Dumas, that's a good one, student. That's a good one. Dumas. So y'all fantastic with these nicknames, man. Yeah, Mickey Dumas is a guy that I really do believe he has way too much power in that building. He's way too comfortable to be behaving like this, talking like he talking. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. I don't like his measurements and his movements. Maybe he can act like that if his coach was doing something. His coach is not doing anything. And even though Dennis Allen did something positive for himself when he finished 9-8, the team was super talented. He was it's just a weak schedule and a super talented team. Get some 9 wins. Can he do it again next year? I don't know. I really don't know. And I would have to say no to it because they can't beat the good teams, not because of talent. A lot of this is that they've been out coached, they've been out hearted, they've been out hustled. It's a lot of stuff going on. And remember, regardless or not, the reason why I really want Dennis Allen going is because you can't shake the logic about the head coach. The team mimics the ideology of the head coach and his measurements, his movements. It mirrors it. So you got a schizophrenic team operating it. That's an encumbrance every time. We don't need that. We need somebody who has leadership ability that won't backstab. We need a guy that's incomparable. You need a guy that's going to run your team that has a unshakable work mentality, a drive, a determination, and an ethical system that is above reproach. That's what we need. We don't need a weasel with a backstabby way that throws his team under the bus to apologize to the most hated rival the team has. I don't need that, and I don't want that. And that just was not a good look. All right. So anyway, Kevin says, what is the fantasy about Carr? He's average at best. I don't know, man. I think Carr could work if you have him in a certain, like if you have a running game and you take the pressure off of Carr, use your running attack, you can have success with Carr. The problem is like several games during the season, Kev, you would see the Saints try to use Carr to win the game and he couldn't. And I would say at the time he doesn't know enough of the offense to win these games and he would fail. But the Saints also didn't give him a running attack to help counterbalance it. It was just like, we're going to have you throw the ball 40 times a game, and it didn't work. And the guy supposedly was hurt. So like I said, man, at the end of the day, I think that the Saints really need to evaluate the head coaching position, which they won't. They just think they see it as a personnel issue, that we just need these guys. And if we have these guys, we'll win the 2 more games that we need to be relevant again. He don't see Mickey Loomis doesn't see that the issues that his head coach is lacking those intangible things. I mean, the dude is literally blind to the fact that Dennis Allen, I don't know if nobody thinks Dennis Allen is Sean Payton, but in Mickey Loomis' eyes, the way he's operating, I don't think he could tell the difference. Like he thinking Dennis is good on defense and Pete Carmichael's good on offense, and that should work. And we've had 2 years of funk. So something's not working. So what they do? Oh, we just got to draft better. Oh, we got to just sign a few more people and we'll make it. Talent's not the issue. And the fact that they don't realize that the issue is with the management, the coach and Dennis Allen mismanaging the resources of the team. If they can't see that, bro, what do you expect me to say about him? We've been saying we've been right. We've been vindicated. We've been 100%, 1,000% right all season long, and they've been dead wrong. They failed. They are failures, and they continue to act like failures. So, what am I supposed to say about that? And I'm not going to feed y'all a bill of goods. I'm not going to tell you some lies and say, hey, y'all know what? They're going to turn it all around tomorrow. I can't tell you that because there is no proof that, that the intangibles matter. Leadership, accountability, attention to detail, discipline. That stuff matters. And we don't have enough of that to go against some of the best teams in the NFL who have an overabundance of that stuff. So, that's what it is. All right. Anyway, what's up, Tragic? Shout out to you, bro. How you doing? Kevin says it can't work. He doesn't scan the field cue. The thing is taking the ball out of his hands. Kevin, you can't get rid of him, bro. I hear you. You can't get rid of him, bro. We stuck the car. You stuck the car. You just hope and pray. And I'm sorry to even throw it out like that, but you gotta hope and pray to do his job and you find a coach that press him on it. And the whole Gruden thing is that Gruden is a guy that a lot of the stuff I just told you about, he has that. He has the leadership. He has accountability. He has discipline. He also has a lot of negative other stuff that a lot of people don't want around here. It could be problematic to a degree. How the team receives him after what was heard in those emails. So there's some issues, but he, as a football coach, Gruden has accountability. He has discipline. He has attention to detail. He knows offenses, and he operates with the same mentality as Sean Payton in terms of having that alpha dog mentality. Now, it's an interesting mix because if you can take Gruden and what he has that is positive and add it in what they have right now, will that kind of bring the Saints back around and whatnot? I don't know. That is very crazy. I ain't gonna say crazy, but it will be a unique experiment to do because you pull Sean out and then you drop Gruden there, and then Gruden's not gonna run Sean Payton's system. He's gonna change it up. So it's gonna be different. That system is gonna be different. It's not gonna be a Sean Payton offense. You'll have Pete Carmichael, who I'm thinking they'll keep. And if they do add Gruden with him, they'll mix principles. But who has the ultimate saying in the offense? Will it be Pete or will it be Gruden? I say it'll be the guy that is closest to Derek Carr, which would be Gruden, because that's who want Gruden here as Carr. It's all about pleasing Carr. This is not a Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen idea. This is Derek Carr saying he wants him, and they're doing what they can do to get him. That's what this is. That's what's going on. Now, it's crazy enough where it can work, but it's so volatile it might not. So what it does perform is it gives the Saints if something fall apart, it gives them an interim coach. That's what basically it does. So if Dennis Allen doesn't work and he gets fired within the first 6 or 7 games of the season and Gruden is actually there, it gives Gruden an opportunity to get back in the lead as a head coach. Because I'm pretty sure if it doesn't work and in 7, 8 games into the season, they finally pull the trigger and fire Dennis Allen, that's going to be, and then Gruden's there, he's going to take it. He's going to take over. So Dennis Allen is not foolish enough. I don't think Dennis Allen played chess. He probably somewhere playing Hungry Hippos. When people are playing chess, he playing Hungry Hippos somewhere. He ain't playing checkers. Like they say, well, I'm playing chess, you over there playing checkers. Nah, they over there playing chess and he over there playing Hungry Hippos. Let me tell you something. That's what Dennis Allen at. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sorry. All right. Slim says Gruden might be a 2-time champ if it wasn't for the dumb. Yeah, indeed, bro. That was a very bad rule. Kev said, did he really won through Slim the Dungeon team? Yeah, he won with Tony. He won that Tampa Bay Buccaneers championship. That was Tony Dungy's team. That was absolutely Tony Dungy's team. That was absolutely Tony Dungy's team. No doubt about it. That ain't even something that's debatable. J Rod says I don't. Rod out says I don't really. I fully don't understand contract, but why wasn't Carr signed to a 1-year prove it contract? Seems really stupid to give him as much as they did. Look at Baker. Yeah, I know, bro. The Baker snafu. Indeed, they asked Mickey Loomis about that, and Mickey Loomis didn't like it. He had a little snarty way of talking about it. You can't judge them. Well, you gotta understand, you can't judge them the same way. You know, it's things are different. And even though Baker's doing good, you know, see. They were showing that what they were saying at the time, that he overspent, which if you compare the two, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are making out like a bandit. They got Baker Mayfield on a cheap contract, and even if they do resign him, he won't cost them nearly $150 million over 4 years. And Baker has them in the next round of the playoffs. Hell, Baker and them won tonight. They beat the hell out of whatchamacallit tonight. Shit, Baker beat the Eagles 32-9 tonight. So yeah, they winning big time. No, they wasn't going to do that because Derek Carr didn't want a 1-year prove it deal. Carr wanted his money, and the Saints said how much, and they were trying to get him traded during the season. He shut down the trade, then he went somewhere else to see if he could try to get the money, and ultimately he decided to sign with the Saints. The Saints wasn't going to give Derek Carr a prove it deal. In their minds, Derek Carr was the answer to the Saints going to the Super Bowl. For real. They believed that he was the guy. And Dennis Allen then went all the way in on him. And we ended up with 9-8 wins. We're 9-8, and we missed the playoff for 2 straight years. So, you know, it is what it is. All right. Barbara says, how would some players feel about Chucky Q? That's what I'm saying, you know, Barbara, when I made mention of that could be an issue. It's so volatile, and it's so unpredictable. It's crazy because one moment, like I said, him and Sean Payton, if y'all watch Coach Payton and you watch Coach Gruden, those guys mentality wise are like almost the same. You know, Sean Payton's kind of crazy and throw it off. He's not as crazy and throw it off as Chucky with the faces and everything. But we talking about football. Those guys come from the same tree. They're football, like offensive-minded geniuses. They have alpha dog mentality. They both believe in discipline. You know, they both believe in attention to detail. They're both really good coaches in that regard. But like when you get a Gruden based on what was happening, that could be problematic because everybody know what he said in those emails. How do you get over that? Now, you know, the guy can apologize, you know, but there's going to be some friction there to start off. So that's the whole thing about all that's going on. I know they're going to have some reactions, and people don't really like Dennis Allen like that. It's still a split in the locker room. The hell with what Mickey Loomis talking about. Oh, that's just stupid. I ain't saying it's a split in the locker room. It's just stupid to say that. That's what he says. That's how he talks. He talks and says, that's stupid. Who talked? This 70-year-old man talking crazy like that. Well, that's stupid. No, it's not. Your coach team just ran a play without his permission. You sit up here talking about it. Well, it wasn't malicious. Don't matter if it was malicious or not, bro. If a respected coach says kneel on the ball, they're supposed to kneel on it, right? Bottom line, if they don't kneel on the ball and they run the play without your permission, dog, that's them not listening to you. That's not stupid. And for him to say that, he shows that his supreme stupid bias for Dennis Allen, and he's so biased for Dennis Allen and so arrogant and ignorant toward Dennis Allen that he won't see any logic. That's why I'm not even approaching him with logic anymore, because he's operating out of arrogance, and you're not supposed to be doing that. But we'll see how it all did. But it's crazy, man. I'm just keeping it real. I'm saying the stuff that he says. He said that during the season, all this craziness. And I sit here and cover it. I'm like, what did this dude just say? That's what he does. Talks crazy, says stuff. That's stupid to believe that. That's stupid to say that. The team is lying, that the coach lost the team. That's crazy. That's stupid to say that. No, it's not. It's not stupid. Not at all. Not at all. It's stupid for a coach to apologize to the hated rival team and throw his team under the bus. That's stupid. I agree with you on that, if that's what you meant. But in terms of it being a split in the locker room, there's definitely a split. There's definitely a split going on here, and we've been knowing that. Because how you know? Because look how the team plays. Look how the team plays, man. Guys are not totally bought in on him because they don't trust him. He's a liar. He's a backstabber, and that's what happens. But thank you for the question, Rod. J Rod out, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, they couldn't sign him. He didn't want them on a 1 year prove. He wouldn't have signed with the Saints on a 1 year prove it deal. The Saints that was that gung ho after that dude. They were gung ho after him. All right, Jack says without Peyton, nobody knows a player's true. And yes, so much I can't overemphasize how much it meant when they pulled Sean Payton when he left there. And there was nobody to take, and I wasn't anticipating people taking his place, but they know his philosophies, they know his scheme, his X's and O's, but they could not reproduce the discipline. They could not reproduce the attention to detail. They couldn't produce the accountability. They couldn't produce the intangibles that you would need to hold teams together to make to build the brand. They didn't have none of that. This was a great experiment too to see how a team would be without its coach. Like all the head coach, all of the assistants are there because it's not like this was a supreme, unique experiment that we witnessed in the New Orleans Saints building. And I'm saying that because the coach did not go to another job where he took assistant coaches with him. He left to the booth and started talking about football on television. He left all of those guys behind. All of his staff, all of those the players, all of his assistant coaches that he brought together, he left them all there. The majority of them were there. His players, his philosophy, everything was there. And he went to television, then went to Denver after a year. So everybody was still there. And the team with him gone, they still not. Granted, he finished 9-7 his final year because he wasn't truly all dialed in. We covered that during the time when Sean Payton told Jay Glazer in November of that year when he was retiring, when there was still plenty of football games to fight for, that he was going to retire, which Sean Payton would have literally hammered the hell out and put in the doghouse a player that was on his squad talking to reporters about retirement. And they're supposed to be they were literally in the heat of fighting for a playoff spot when he was talking about retirement to reporters, telling Jay Glazer that he would be the one that provided the scoop. I covered all that at the time. So the 9-7 year, and then the next year, the Saints went all out in free agency. They had Jarvis Landry, Tyrann Mathieu. They did the draft. They did all this other stuff. And they went after Deshaun Watson. That didn't work. They re-signed Jameis. He had several injuries, all this kind of stuff happened, and they failed. They went backwards to 7-10. Then they came back at it this past year with the same philosophy, and they got 2 wins on an easy schedule, but they could not win, which they were supposed to in a weak NFC South. Didn't work. Didn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, what do you need to do now to change, because you got to look at that. We did this last year. These people don't have the vision to even look at what they're doing, family, for real. And it's not really that hard. It's not hard to go and look at your team and say, we need this, that, and the third. These people are not keeping it real because they're not operating with the right energy. They're not operating with, I really want to find out why we're not making the playoffs. They're not operating with it. He's operating with, I made this call. I'm keeping my coach. I ain't firing no coach. I'm keeping this guy. And if y'all don't like it, whatever. That's his philosophy. That's Dumas's philosophy. Kevin says Warren Sapp mama could have coached it. Jack says Winston is 1 for 1 for TD's calling plays. So let's get with that and let him call the plays. I don't know if James is going to be here. I know his contract restructured his contract, but he could be a cut, a June 1st cut. That's what my feeling is that I think that's what's going to end up happening. That's not that expensive, Kevin. That Baker Mayfield contract is pretty inexpensive, man. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, his contract is. Hold on here. It's not very pricey, bro. I mean, he made bank with Cleveland when he came out, but after they traded him, he kind of dropped way down there. But hold on, let me see. Let me pull it up. It's 4 years. One year, $4 million is his contract with Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield's contract with Tampa Bay is a 1 year deal estimated at $4 million. 1 year, $4 million. That is Baker Mayfield's contract. I think they did really well. Shout out to Tampa Bay, man. Shout out to Tampa Bay. What's up, Darrell? Shout out to you, fam. It's not hard, Q, but they too busy chasing the ghost of Sean Payton. And that's the and when I started looking at what's happening with Mickey Loomis and how he behaves, and that's when I really stopped really liking Mickey Loomis, like respecting him like that when he started talking the way he been talking, this elitist talk. That's stupid. I'm not going to do that. All this kind of weird speak and everything. When people ask him about quarterbacks, well, it's the middle of the season. It's not the middle of the season at the time, Mickey. It was like 2 weeks before the season ends. They asked him about a quarterback. You're asking me to comment on something dealing with a quarterback at the end of the season, and we're right in the middle of the season, and I'm not going to do that. What? Is this Mickey Loomis or Steve Urkel? What the hell going on here, man? But that's how he would talk. He talked really weird, elitist, arrogant, and I don't like that, man. I don't like how he dealt with the people all this season. I didn't like it. Then I realized that this damn guy operating out of arrogance. He picked this guy, and regardless of how you feel about it, he's going to keep him, even if he tearing the team up and wasting time. He don't care. That's why I was telling people it's an exercise, and he think it's a game, but it's an exercise between what he's doing and with in the support of the people. It's what it is. That's what he did. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, what's up, John? Shout out to Card, to John Dillon. John Dillon, he robbing. He robbing. Boy, I'll tell you what, John, he got a big pistol on the Saints. Boy, let me tell you something. He got a huge pistol on the Saints. I ain't gonna lie, he jacking them for everything they got right now. $150 million for 9 wins. And they was smiling to the hilt. I'm like, man, that's not how it's supposed to go. But Barber says Allen's fractured is not holding Carr accountable in poor play. Exactly. That's the whole point. Like when we talked about some of this stuff, is like, Dennis Allen doesn't hold Carr responsible when he's staring down the field, when he's throwing pick sixes. But when he has a good performance on the field, he goes to the media and tell them, how about Derek Carr? Even though you don't pinpoint and call out rest of them, he went to them and made a point to pinpoint and talk about how good Carr's performance is for one of those games. But when Carr threw the pick six in the Atlanta game and was responsible for the loss of the game, when they asked about, we lose as a team. See, this is hypocrisy. That's the type of lame brain, up and down, bullshit type of stuff that people don't like. You try to protect Carr when he picks six in it, but when he throws two or three touchdowns, he goes up to the press and how about Carr? You got to give him credit. He did such and such. That don't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense. You have to be consistent with it, and that type of stuff shows it's a bias toward him. Like they even form around him, protecting them from criticism. You can't coddle these guys. If Carr's staring out on the field, you have to call him out and you have to get him to fix that or stop that. You don't coddle him, and then players are fussing at him and all this kind of stuff. And he takes Carr's side. He never went against Carr. Even when the wide receiver with Chris Olave, that was Chris Olave ran the wrong record. You will never hear Carr, Mickey Loomis, or Dennis Allen ever say something wrong about Derek Carr. And whatever he wants, he gets, just like Chucky. This Chucky thing is Derek Carr. It's all Derek Carr. They're doing it for Derek Carr. They ain't smart enough to say, you know what, let's go get John. No, the Chucky thing is all Carr because he wants Carr. Carr wants Gruden here in the building with him, which could work. Like I said, because Chucky has the things that Coach Payton used to have. He has the championship acumen. He has discipline for the game. If you ever go back and watch his QB school and listen to him break down film and ask questions, he knows the hell out of offenses, and he can put stuff together. And he's very accountable. He got a tough style to him to keep people accountable. So it could work in theory. But like I said, it's not all about theory. It's also how he fits there with what went on with everything and, with the players and everything. See, it's a dynamics all around this stuff that we got to account for. It's a very unique situation, to be honest with you, fam. Jack says they did everything, not to mention him missing dude left and right. Shaheed, no, I know, bro. You're absolutely right. You're right. You are absolutely right on that. What's up, Gardner? Shout out to you, bro. Says no one should have guaranteed job. And no, but Mickey Loomis, bro, damn near got one. Like he is untouchable. I talked and I said that I was like, this dude, do you really believe that if Tom Benson was still drawing breath on this earth, that Mickey Loomis would behave in this way? Hell no, he wouldn't. Mickey Loomis wouldn't be. He'd be as humble as a church mouse if Tom Benson was drawing there and walking this planet. He would be as humble as a church mouse. He wouldn't be talking arrogant like that because Tom Benson didn't like that kind of stuff. He believed in service to the people because most of his business was built on good service. He prided himself on having his car businesses give the best service. That's one of the things, like he called it, what they used to call it, the Benson advantage. Remember that? Y'all remember? See, I know about all that stuff, man, because I'm from here. But I remember that's how he built his car business. It was like through his service. His service was impeccable. You go down there, they'll do everything, bend over backwards for the customer. They'll do, you know what I'm saying? That's what Tom Benson was known to do. And for him to hear Mickey Loomis sitting up on his ass like he elitist and I ain't talking like that, man, he would lambaste the hell out of Mickey Loomis for that. He wouldn't be happy with that. And I know he wouldn't be happy with that. He wouldn't be happy with that, and they understand and know that they're taking advantage of Gale because Tom Benson trusted these guys and they were supposed to be running his team properly and they're not running it properly. It wasn't about the money with Tom Benson. He made his money. He knew he was going to make his money, but at the same time, he wanted to put a good product on the field. And these people have lost sight of that to the point where they'll try to stop people from putting up billboards. Now, that's not official, but word on the street is that what happened. Word on the street is that's what happened. Word on the street is that would happen. Shazam said the situation reminded me of when Beast Mode was saying Pete Carroll wouldn't check or hold Russell accountable, and that's why the team. Yes, I remember not only just Beast Mode, but he was in league with Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman was calling Russell Wilson out in practice, was picking him off in practice, telling him you garbage. You know, he was coddling them. And you can see like Russell Wilson now, Sean Payton got in the $200 million quarterback in Denver, and Sean Payton is not coddling that guy out there. He benched him. You see what I'm saying? That's what accountability do for you. That's what it do for you. You know, that's what it do. That's what it does for you. Mount Dog said, what's up, bro? So I think she gave Loomis and Dennis part of the ownership in her will because they're a little, these guys here, man, are abusing Gale, man. They out here operating. You never supposed to operate with that kind of level of arrogance. It's not even, he can't even justify this stuff. Because in the NFL, which means not for long, that's ridiculous that a guy like Dennis Allen still got his job and a guy like Pete Carroll doesn't, or a guy like Bill Belichick doesn't. The moment Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll became open, Dennis Allen's job was on the line. There's too many great coaches out here. Even if you don't go with the legends, they have two really good coaches. That's three, actually, if you throw Harbaugh is in there looking for a chance to come back to the league after winning the championship. And Harbaugh is another good coach. And you keeping this guy, this is ridiculous. That don't make any sense. That Dennis Allen still has a job and he missed the playoffs for 2 straight years. And you got Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, and Jim Harbaugh out here looking for jobs in the NFL. And the Saints not even entertaining it. But your rivals are going to entertain it. It's unbelievable how dumb these people are, for real, bro. Like they thinking they got, this guy is not even close. That guy is like I told you, he's a dumb janitor and that mops floors with sour mops. That's what Dennis Allen is to me, for real. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying that's what I get when I think about when somebody tell me Coach Dennis Allen. I get a picture of a guy with a mop, mopping the floor, and the mop is sour. And people are asking, what's that smell? What's that smell? Did I step on something? And they lift the bottom of their shoe and they say, I don't know what that smell is. What is that smell? And then they said, they turn and look, and then Dennis over there with the mopping in the corner. And he said, this idiot over here is mopping the floor with a sour what is that smell? Yeah, that's what I get, for real. I might make a graphic of that, man. All right, Jack says Loomis wait for Peyton to tell him he can fire DA. I don't think so, bro. I think a lot of people realize, like, you got Mickey Loomis is also, you know, he has 20 plus years. He being very selfish. That's why I said Gail need to step in and change things herself, because he doesn't have the ability. It's very clear to me that Dumas doesn't have the ability to be able to say, listen, let's bring younger talent in here. We got this guy. We just promoted him to be the assistant general manager. Let's make him the manager. He knows how to do all of the general manager stuff. He's younger. It will mean that, when I retire, that this guy could, step in and such, and Mickey doesn't have to retire. He just has to relinquish the GM term, give it to Kai Harley, and Mickey still could be the VP. There's no reason for Mickey Loomis to keep holding on to the general manager position. He can't control his emotions. That's what he say. You're not a real general manager if you can't control your emotions, bro. You running a football team. What you expect? This ain't a choir. And even people in the choir be dealing with some emotions, man. You got a lot of sassiness going on there. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is to make any sense. Somebody has to force his hand, and the only person that can do it is one person. The other guy is not going to do it. And Gail's the only person that could do it, and she ain't motivated to do it because the money looking good. Gail steps in when the money start turning down. That's when she steps in and says, what's going on here? Even the other guy that's above Mickey, the other Dennis guy, he has to step in when the money looks funny and say, man, what the hell going on here? Why is our money way down? That's when they start turning. That's when you see. And that's not a secret. That happens with all businesses. All of them. When they forget who they supposed to be doing it for, and then you pull your support back from them, you're just doing this is reciprocal. It's a cycle. They've gotten too big, fat, and happy and lazy, and they thinking they can just give you anything. And that's when you said nope. And you pull it back, and then you force them to say, remember who the boss is. Then you reset them, and then it's a whole new cycle again. That's what's going on right now. That's what you're going to have. That's why I constantly tell people, don't go down there. Pull your stuff back. Don't buy none of that. If they having these events for free, don't go there. Voice your opinions in the comments sections. Voice your opinions. Call up there. I put the phone line. Call up. They got a line up there. You can call and complain. Call up there when they are hours of operation. Call up there and complain. Let them know we voicing our displeasure with you doing with this team, and we're not giving our money to you. You ain't giving your money to us. Oh Lordy, what's going on here? Yeah, I'm telling you, you start shaking shit loose. Just keeping it real with you, fam. You got to pull it. You got to reset them, bro. That's how it happens. Every cycle they give it's a decadent cycle. It'll happen like if you're a millionaire. That's what they had a study on that. They had a documentary, matter of fact, that was done about that, about the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts, and that they had it where the old timey ones built up like you had Rockefeller, who wasn't rich at onset, was poor, built himself up and his family into something powerful. And then they had found out that within 2 or 3 generations, they go right back to the bottom again. And they was trying to figure a way how not to let that happen. So what they started doing was they started setting up trusts in a certain way where they didn't get all the money. It's almost like the Hilton chick, like her walking around buying up dogs, to put in bags and, a little bag with the dog. And she championed all that expensive luggage. They made sure that they still ran the empire, and she got a few bucks, but she don't have access to all of the money. They figured a way how to do it where the 3rd and 4th generations don't destroy the wealth. They made it so that they had to learn how to handle money. They had to, see what I'm saying? They had got a job within the family structure. They set up where they had a job inside of the family structure where they wasn't giving shit. They had to earn it. They had to figure it out. And then with that model, they found out how they can keep their wealth, as opposed to turning it over to them the 2 generations later, and then you pour again. Because that's how it goes. It's a decadent thing. Like you got the hardworking person that created it, and within several generations, it'll go right back to what it was. If because the people are enjoying the next several generations, are enjoying your immense wealth. If they don't have to get it from the mud like you did it in the original cycle, which is that builds character. So some kind of way they had to figure that out, and they figured it out. And that's how they're able to build and keep that wealth over a long period of time and get that old money. So I'm telling you how it is, man. That's this the cycle we under when we, for 20 years, they've been living fat. For 20 years, they done had endless culverts full of tickets, people waiting for Saints tickets. They didn't have to worry. There was sellouts all the time. Merchandise falling off the shelves. We paying $300-400 million to renovate the dome so they can make more money. The contracts they signed recently, where they don't pay rent on the buildings, that you pay for all the utilities, they get the merchandise, the concessions, they got all that, to the point where Gail is the richest person in the state. Gail was worth $5 billion last year. She worth $6 billion this year. She made a whole nother $1 billion, and that's what they choose to report on. So like I said, I know all of the financials. I know all of it. I don't just follow the football side. I know about all the money that's tied to the state and the city with the Saints. I know about all the deals. I know about all that. That's how I talk like this. I know what time it is. But in the end, it's a cycle. You got to break the cycle. You got to break the cycle. They won't do it, fam. You got to do it for them. Draw your support back. All right. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna cut out on that. Listen, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in and listening to me tonight. And I appreciate you being here. It's after 1 o'clock. Listen to all the family members in the area, in the New Orleans area, man. Y'all be safe. We're under a deep freeze situation going on, so y'all be very careful of how you travel tomorrow. A lot of the schools have already been shut down because they anticipate ice on the roads and some dangerous situations. So be very careful on how you are moving around tomorrow. Be very careful. Make sure you bundle up your children, bundle up your plants. If you ain't already did that yet, you're probably in trouble. But you guys just be safe and be careful. Okay. And tomorrow I'll pop back up on our Patreon Tuesday stream. There's another QCast, as I call it. The QCast broadcast will be ready to go tomorrow for our Patreon family members, for you guys to check out. And just be careful, man, out there. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Much love, and who that to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Felp. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Something
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below.